Hey, brilliant minds of Mind Obscura. Hope you're doing well today. Let's not waste a second because what I'm about to say might shake the way you've been living your life. What if I told you that everything you want, every dream, every opportunity, every breakthrough is already available to you? But you're not getting it simply because you're not asking. Sounds almost too simple, right? But that's the trap most people fall into. They work hard, stay disciplined, follow the rules, and still feel like they're stuck in the same place. You could be doing everything right and still feel unrecognized, underpaid, or completely off track. The secret isn't always more effort. Sometimes, it's the courage to ask for what you want. See, most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're silent. And here's something powerful. The world doesn't reward effort by default. It rewards clarity, intention, and boldness. Not aggression, not entitlement, but calm, precise, intelligent asking. That's the real starting point of transformation. Think about it. You can be the most talented, most dedicated person in the room. But if you never speak up, if you never clearly state what you want, how would anyone know? And it doesn't just apply to people. This is philosophical. This applies to the universe, to reality, to life itself. Even life, in a way, responds best to clarity. There's a common phrase in almost every spiritual tradition: ask, and you shall receive. It appears in Christianity, in Eastern philosophies, even in modern coaching and neuroscience circles. But we treat it like poetry instead of a process. Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you clearly defined what you wanted on paper, out loud, or even to yourself? Most people walk around with blurry goals, vague wishes, and cloudy intentions. And when you're unclear, the world can't respond clearly either. Asking isn't begging. It's not being desperate. It's a declaration of intention. And here's where the science comes in. There's a part of your brain called the Reticular Activating System (RAS). It's your internal filter. The moment you set a clear intention, your RAS begins to prioritize information that aligns with it. It doesn't create magic. It sharpens your awareness. Ever notice how once you start thinking about buying a certain car, you suddenly see that car everywhere? That's not coincidence. It's your brain tuning into what you told it was important. That's what asking does. It sets your internal compass. It programs your perception. But most people never flip that switch. They never trigger the mechanism because they never take the first step, asking clearly. And that's only half the story. What if I told you that receiving yes, the actual manifestation of what you want, is automatic? That once you ask, once you set the gears in motion, receiving starts to happen on its own. Not immediately, not magically, but organically. Things begin to align. The problem isn't that life won't give you what you want. It's that you're not asking for it in the first place. And if that's true, then the real issue isn't lack of resources or opportunity. It's a lack of articulation. You're not failing because the ocean is empty. You're failing because you showed up with a teaspoon. Let that sink in. Imagine standing in front of an endless ocean of abundance, knowledge, connection, and possibility, holding a spoon. Why? Because somewhere along the way, you were conditioned to think small, to stay humble, to not ask for too much. But the ocean doesn't shrink when you bring a bucket. It doesn't get offended. It invites you. If you want more from life, don't wait for someone to offer it. Step forward, ask, and ask like you mean it. Now asking isn't just about saying, I want X. There's a method. There's a way to do it that activates both the mind and the world around you. First, you have to ask with intelligence. That means specificity, clarity. You don't get anywhere with vague wishes. Don't say, I want more success. Say, I want to earn $10,000 a month doing work I love by December. Don't say, I want to be happy. Say, I want to wake up with energy, do creative work, and spend time with people who inspire me. The more clearly you define it, the more powerfully it pulls you. Goals aren't just written to remind you, they act like magnets. The better you describe what you want, the stronger the pull toward it becomes. It's almost like you're programming reality to respond. And second, you must ask with faith. This is the part we often overlook, especially as adults. We've been trained to be skeptical, to protect ourselves from disappointment. But children don't ask with doubt, they ask with belief. They ask expecting the answer to be yes. That's the energy you need to bring. Plan like an adult. Yes. Use logic, strategy, and structure. But believe like a child. Believe not because it's guaranteed, but because that belief fuels your actions, your presence, and your persistence. And that's the magic combo. Clarity plus faith. Try it. Just for 90 days. Write down your goals. Say them out loud. Take small steps toward them. Ask for help. Apply for the opportunity. Start the conversation. Be intentional. And here's the best part: you can always go back to the old way if nothing changes. But I'll bet you won't want to. You'll start to notice things shifting. People responding differently. Opportunities showing up. And you'll wonder why you didn't do this sooner. There's a quote that says, "The world steps aside for the person who knows where they are going." But I'd say this: the world steps aside for the person who's bold enough to ask for the map. So here's your challenge. Today, take 5 minutes. Sit down. Write one clear, specific thing you want. Something real. Something that matters to you. Then ask, how do I get it? Who do I ask for help? What is the first step? Because clarity is power. And asking is the first act of courage. If this resonated with you even just a little, drop a comment below that says "I'm in." That's your first ask. Your first act of intention. Let the world know you're done waiting. You're ready to design your life. And if you're someone who's been quietly grinding, waiting to be noticed, this is your permission slip to stop waiting. Speak up. Show up. Ask. Because the only thing standing between you and what you want might just be you.